I think Aarhus University is an international university, and it's part of our strategy to remain an international university because we believe that collaboration in research provides better science, and because we believe that influence from other universities, from partners elsewhere, is important for the continuous development of Aarhus University. For us, the local working environment is important for all our employees, but especially for the talent group. For us, freedom of research, together with space and possibilities for open, uncensored discussions, are important. We believe this is the best way forward, both for the research we're doing and for the working environment for our employees. Collaboration with society is actually a third leg in our strategy, together with education and research. For me, you can inform and discuss your knowledge with the public, but probably the best way to implement your knowledge into society is via collaboration and via the students, that when they finish their education, bring research-based knowledge into society. To me, this is probably more important and more efficient than just discussing your knowledge with the public. These routes for implementing knowledge into society not only bring our own results into tangible use, but it also brings the general knowledge of the whole international research society of a specific area into use, which is actually important for me. I don't believe that the individual universities can bring up sufficient knowledge to further societies. We have to gather knowledge from the general research societies around the world and bring that into tangible use. We recognize and support innovation as part of the research activity. And also, innovation is becoming a mandatory element in all educations. Innovation has its own organization inside the university that support researchers in collaboration with society and with innovation. And actually, if you look at the Faculty of Health, our spin-out has attracted more than 20 million euros during the last 10 years. Gender equality is important for the university, and it has become a part of our strategy. And therefore, gender equality has to be taken into account in many aspects of our activities, like when we hire people, when we assign people for special functions, when we place employees in various boards, and etc. Having said that, I think we still have some way to go, but we're getting there. We're actually part of the FEMaLe because the project was born at Aarhus University. And that's probably also why we have the governance at the administrative part of the project, together with some work packages with research.
Aarhus University is responsible for 4 work packages in FEMaLe, which is work package 1, 3, 8, and 10. And I serve as the work package leader for work package 1. And here in work package 1, we are responsible to secure that all activities effectively meet the expected impact as written in the proposal. And we do this by continuously tracking in a systematic way, tracking the impact monitoring process, where we, from the very beginning of the project, actually had implemented a project management methodology called half double. And just to talk a little bit about Half Double, it is an agile project management methodology that had gathered the best methods and practices from previous project management methods. And it consists of 3 core elements, which is impact, flow, and leadership. And each core element has each 3 tools that you can apply directly into your work package, and where the overall objective is to help you capture the full potential of your project. Yeah, so basically to secure that we in FEMaLe capture the full potential in each of our work packages, and also to secure that each work packages meet their expected impact, we have established a rhythm that runs every year and begins in August. And in August, we invite all members from each work package to a workshop where we create an impact case, which contains an overview of all the tasks the individual work packages has in the upcoming period or the upcoming year. And this helps us to guide us and help us to ensure that we achieve our expected goals. And then 6 months later, we invite each work package leader to do an evaluation where we discuss the previous 6 months and their use of the Half Double methodology. And then we provide them with ideas on how they can better their use and how they can use some of the Half Double tools a bit more effectively. Yeah. And another responsibility is that in between these 2 sessions or these meetings, we also monitor the stakeholder satisfaction level from all project participants by sending out a short pulse check service, which consists of 6 questions. Where a question could be, for example, if the project members are having fun or if they are feeling motivated working in FEMaLe, so that we always are on track with our project participants and see if we can adjust something based on their needs. Yeah, I think that's the overall responsibilities for work package 1 in the FEMaLe project.
Okay, so in work package 3, where I'm the work package leader, Aarhus University has a responsibility of estimating the prevalence and geographical distribution of symptoms related to endometriosis. Also, we are responsible for making a phenotypic description of women with endometriosis, and also we want to estimate the consequences related to diagnostic delay.
So our responsibility is to develop a digital version of the endometriosis self-management program called MyEndo, or Mind Your Endometriosis, which is in mindfulness and acceptance-based intervention for managing endometriosis. And we are going to validate and examine the program also. Until now, we have started describing the content of the program and developing the digital materials that are going to be used in the 10 sessions of the program. That includes video recording of guided yoga exercises and audio recordings of mindfulness meditations. And then we have developed a digital platform for the program, and we have pilot tested all the content on the program on this platform. And the next step that is just about to start is that we are going to conduct a randomized controlled trial where we will examine the effects of the program, and we'll compare a self-guided version of MyEndo Digital with a therapist-guided version of MyEndo Digital in order to see whether a therapist will add something extra to the effects of the program, and also compare with a treatment as usual, medical treatment as usual group. So that's a 3-armed randomized control trial.
The FEMaLe project is a highly multidisciplinary or interdisciplinary project. And in my mind, interdisciplinary projects are very, very difficult. Often you see different aspects of a project being performed in parallel, but not much interaction between the different disciplines. But with FEMaLe, it has been an ambition and also a success to bring together the different disciplines in a truly multidisciplinary or interdisciplinary sense. And I think that that this has for us as an organization, this is one of the most important developments in FEMaLe, that our employees now engage in a truly interdisciplinary research project and can bring this experience on to ongoing or future projects.
I think FEMaLe has obtained success by creating awareness of endometriosis, both among women in the reproductive age, but also among healthcare professionals. This has partly been obtained through some of the scientific publications that we have done in Work Package 3 based on the Danish registry data.
So FEMaLe has been a success already because it has given us the possibility to develop a digital version of MyEndo. Until now, it only existed as a face-to-face version. So it has already been a success because we had the possibility to develop a digital version, but it will also be a success to have this digital version validated and to have the possibility to examine the effects of this digital version.
It has been a success that we have published some publications in Work Package 1. And we have done that through our collaboration with the business school at Aarhus University. Here we have published a case study based on our experiences with implementing half double. And we have shared how we have applied some of the tools into a research setting. And yeah, that has been a great success, not only for the Department of Health at Aarhus University, but also Aarhus University's business school. And further, yeah, this case study led to attending a business management conference in Dublin this June, where we published a conference article also based on our use of the methods. And here I presented how our use of each method has changed over time, which is which shows this agile approach that the methodology has. Yeah, so that has been a great success for the institution.
So we are working on publishing more scientific papers using both survey data and the Danish registry data that will contribute even more to our knowledge on the consequences of living with endometriosis, as well as making it possible to identify women with endometriosis at an earlier stage than we do today.
So my hope is that we will end up with a validated digital self-management program for women with endometriosis that does not only exist in a Danish version, but also in an English and a Hungarian version. And hopefully someone will pick it up and translate it into many other languages, and that this digital program will be implemented in the clinical care and clinical practice, not just in Denmark, but hopefully all around the world, in order to support and help women with endometriosis and the negative physical, psychological, and social consequences of the disease to better manage living with the disease in daily life. So that's what I hope in the long perspective to gain from this.
The institution hopes to gain experience with working on a European Horizon project. Also, from my perspective, the institution hopes to raise awareness on women's health and to be a kind of a first mover in that field, because women's health is in general not a field that receive that much funding. So I am sure that the institution is very happy and proud to be a part of a more inclusive and equal research culture.
I think we bring in experienced legal support from other similar projects, and then we bring in professional expertise in our research. But I think very important, we also bring in ambitious governance that support interdisciplinary research via providing open discussions and ample space and platforms for all partners in the project.
So we have the epidemiological insight and the methodological knowledge that is needed to do high quality research, which has also been exemplified with the papers we have already published within the FEMaLe project.
I think that AU adds value to FEMaLe because we have some people involved in the project with a very specific expertise in relation to psychology and psychology within the specific field of endometriosis and mental health and psychological interventions. So that's adding value because we have some very specific knowledge and expertise in this field that is not very generic.
As I mentioned earlier, Aarhus University add values to the FEMaLe project by being responsible for 4 work packages. And for work package 1, which is the work package I am a part of, we add value to FEMaLe by introducing and implementing half double. Because when you work in a large and a complex project, which the Horizon 2020 projects often is characterized as, you work together with a lot of different people from different fields and who focus on and works in different areas. So for example, in FEMaLe, we have 17 different partners who are working with genetics, mental health, digital health, machine learning, AI, surgery, and so on. So when you have this huge scope of different people working in the same project, it is important to create a common structure and a common language so that we can understand each other and speak the same language, even though we comes from different fields and different backgrounds. And that is what half double helps us to do and helps us to realize. And I have experienced, and also I have heard from other project members in my interviews, that this has added a huge amount of value to the project, and it has reduced some of the complexities between the work packages so that we can work more effectively together.
I think the underdiagnosing and long diagnostic delay, as well as the lack of an effective treatment without adverse effects, is one of the biggest problems. Also, I think we know very little about potential modifiable factors that could help us prevent the development of endometriosis in the future?
So the biggest problem from my perspective with endometriosis is that it causes so much harm to girls and women with regards to pelvic pain, fatigue, and infertility. And as a consequence, we see serious mental health issues in addition to the more physical issues like pain and infertility. Another problem is that we don't have a cure for endometriosis, and that it is associated with a significant diagnostic delay, and that treatment options are very sparse. So I think that if women with endometriosis were diagnosed much earlier and treatment began much earlier, in many cases endometriosis wouldn't even be a problem. It would not develop into chronic pain problems and all the mental health issues as a consequence.
From my perspective, I would say the biggest problem is a lack of recognition. In my master thesis, I made a study about women's experiences of having endometriosis in their youth, and that gave me an insight into how they are feeling and how that their surrounding social relations are affecting the woman's quality of life. And what I found, and also what they told in the interviews, was that they didn't feel recognized actually by all their social relations, including their general practitioners, their friends, their families, and also by their teachers in school or when they were doing sports. And I think this shows that there exists a general problem in our society when it comes to women's pain, and when it comes to recognizing women's menstrual pain. Yeah, and also this lack of recognition, which the study highlighted, this lack of recognition also showed that had many negative consequences for the woman's life in the youth, but also that it was something that continued to affect them into their adulthood. So it affected their mental health, it affected their self-confidence on the long term, and then it becomes a very big problem for the woman.
So, by doing research and establishing knowledge on causes and consequences of endometriosis, we actually have the possibility of making a difference for a very large group of women that have been neglected in research for many years.
Well, we do know from research that women with endometriosis know that the diagnosis of endometriosis is very delayed. Some studies indicate 5 to 7 or even 9 years from symptoms onset to diagnosis. And within this period of time, women get no treatment and there's a risk that the disease will develop. So I think one of the biggest gain points in endometriosis would be if women were diagnosed much earlier, and if treatment began much earlier, because then in many cases endometriosis wouldn't even be a problem. It would not develop into the chronic pain problems that we see and the associated mental health issues that needs to be taken care of. It would not be such a big problem for quality of life, workability. So getting a diagnosis much earlier and treatment started much earlier would be, from my perspective, the biggest gain point in endometriosis.
One of the biggest benefits or biggest opportunities is to increase the recognition, of course, of the women's or the pain the women are experiencing, and recognizing that it is real pain that they are experiencing and not just something that a woman has to live with. So I hope that researching in endometriosis will help to better the quality of life for the woman who lives with endometriosis every day. And I hope it can help to reduce the pain that they are experiencing. And of course, we cannot cure endometriosis as it is a chronic disease, but I think that we can definitely become better at recognizing the women in their experiences. Yeah, I think they deserve that.
I think I would demand that the funding bodies, be it public or private, should consider where the money they provide could provide the biggest leaps in knowledge generation. And by this I mean that if you fund, for example, research into cardiology, you fund a research area that has been around with high activity for many years, and the chance that the funding you provide will actually provide a big leap in our knowledge is very, very small, because the knowledge base is already very large. But if you demand that the money should be prioritized to area where our knowledge base is very small, and for that reason you will actually be able to make a big step forward with small amount of money, then I think you automatically prioritize under-prioritized research areas.
I think it's pretty clear that conditions affecting women's health have been neglected for many years, and we therefore need to invest in earlier diagnosis, proper treatment, and research, of course. Since conditions associated with women's menstrual cycle and women's health in general affects a large number of women in the reproductive age with pain, fatigue, infertility, quality of life, and also inability to participate in education and work, we cannot afford not to invest.
So I think that we need much more research funding for endometriosis in order to find out what are the causes of the disease, how do we prevent the disease from developing, and how do we treat and optimally cure endometriosis. But also funding that would support research and better treatment options related to supporting women with endometriosis better, in order for them to live a good life with endometriosis and a fulfilling life despite pain or infertility, until the day that we will be able to cure endometriosis.
I would definitely earmark funding for women's health to ensure a more equal distribution of funds between all genders. And I would also prioritize early information by increasing the awareness of women's health in schools and in high schools. And this could maybe be done through a improved sex education. I think that could help to prevent that girls are feeling abnormal or are feeling misunderstood in their adolescence.